Welcome to the Psychic Pastry Chef, where two unlikely worlds merge. You may know me from my other YouTube channel, Pam Georgel, The Lucky Mermaid, where I post monthly psychic tarot readings and psychic crystal readings, as well as the special videos I record of psychic readings for my Vimeo On Demand channel. Here in these videos, I'm taking my 22 years of experience as a pastry chef with 16 years of working as a psychic and combining them together to bring you great desserts, cakes, and pastries you can make at home that will impress your family and friends. And I'm going to give you psychic messages for your zodiac sign while doing so. I tuned in psychically to each of the zodiac signs, and I heard what each sign would like and enjoy for desserts. Today, we're going to be focusing on Pisces. Pisces likes desserts that are sweet and beautiful and anything with show. You like chocolate desserts layered with mousse like chocolate sabayon cake and creamy chocolate mousse and eclairs and cream puffs, anything that's fluffy and light like a cloud. Also, Pisces love red velvet cake and carrot cake. So today, the dessert we're going to make for Pisces is cream puffs and eclairs. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. So the first thing you want to do is make the pastry cream to fill the eclairs. So I'm making a little bit of a bigger batch than what I'm going to tell you the amounts are, because I plan on making an English trifle for a video I'm going to show on Vimeo. But the amounts that you need to make at home would be 2 cups of milk, 6 yolks, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch or flour, and vanilla. You could use a vanilla bean. I looked into buying some. They're extremely expensive right now, and I thought for the essence of time, I'm just going to use natural vanilla. So the first thing you want to do is always get your utensils ready. You're going to need a mixing bowl, a wire whisk, a pot, another whisk, and a spatula. And have your ingredients measured out in front of you is always best. So the first thing you want to do is bring your milk to a boil. So I have mine on high, and as soon as it comes to a boil, turn it off, cover it, and keep it hot. In the meantime, you want to whisk those yolks. And you really should use a stainless steel bowl and a stainless steel whisk, and add the sugar. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to focus on psychic messages for the signs for 2018. So the first sign I'm going to focus on is Pisces. What does Pisces need to know coming up in 2018? Pisces are going to have a family matter that's going to jump up and take precedence over a lot of other things that are going on in their life. You may need to come to the aid of someone. Maybe it could be a child to you, or a parent, or a sibling. You may need to help them out in some manner. Also, Pisces are going to have a lot of jubilation in the year of 2018, because I see you having like joy at some point. So some of you may be expecting a baby, or getting engaged, or meeting someone new, but something that would bring about jubilation. I pick up for Aries that they're going to be linking themselves up with some kind of new partnership. It could be in business, it could be in romance, it could be on a particular endeavor just for even a brief period of time. Now you want to whisk these eggs and sugar, these yolks, I'm sorry, it's yolks. You want to whisk it so that the sugar is, that it's nice and thick and the sugar is really well incorporated and that it gets light. You could even do it in the mixer if you want, but I don't really feel like it's necessary unless you're making like a huge quantity to use the mixer, so I'm just doing it by hand with this whisk and bowl. Aries also have coming up for 2018 traveling in new company, and also could be traveling on a trip with business or pleasure, but traveling in new company and traveling comes up for Aries in 2018. I also feel that Aries are going to do some stylizing of themselves differently. They may change their hair or get a different wardrobe or grow a beard or shave one off. You know, totally change your hair color. Could also be, with stylizing to me is usually hair, makeup, and clothes. So I feel some Aries are going to be stylizing themselves differently. Could even have to do with your work or your business style if you're a working Aries. I have to keep watching this because when the milk boils, it can really boil over quick. Same thing when you're making ganache to coat the eclairs. When you boil the cream, you have to keep your eye on it because once it starts to rise up in the pot, it could go over and it makes a big mess, and it really stinks when it burns. I see Taurus is completing a project that's going to set them off in some kind of new direction in 2018. Okay, so this is boiling now. I like to really see it boil. Gives me that real secure sense. All right, so now it's boiled. I'm going to cover it up and keep it hot. What you're looking for in this mixture is also for it to form a ribbon. You want the egg yolks and sugar to form a ribbon. Now, when you do this in a mixer, you can really see it, but it's happening here, even doing it with the ye old hand whisk. Taurus may be liquefying some of your assets. You may be selling stocks, selling property, selling personal items, but liquefying some of your assets. So, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the flour. Now, as I said in your recipe, it would be 4 tablespoons of cornstarch or flour. I actually prefer cornstarch. I swear I bought cornstarch. Must be in another location because I can't find it anywhere. So I'm actually using flour, which is not my preference, but it's what I have. And as I said, if I had the cornstarch, that's what I would use. So you want to mix this in well before you start tempering in the milk that you brought to a boil over here. I also see Taurus is investing money in something else, like investing, and you may have a Capricorn friend or a Capricorn business partner or someone that you meet that's a Capricorn that you're like, hey, I think they have a great idea, I want to invest some money in them, because Taurus and Capricorn may be doing something together, but regardless, if it doesn't apply to you, you still are going to be expanding and investing your money in other things in 2018. Okay, so now I'm going to temper in. So when you temper, you just add it slowly because honestly, you don't want to cook the eggs. If you add this in all at once, you're going to scramble the yolks. And you don't want to scramble it, so add a little bit of the hot boiled milk in first to temper it. And I would do it again. I would probably do it in like 3 batches. And now I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla. It's kind of a lot, maybe 1 tablespoon is enough. Well, I'm making a bigger batch. For you, it would be 1 tablespoon. I don't know, I'm just sticking with 1 tablespoon. You could probably do 1.5 teaspoons for the amount. I told you I'm making a bigger amount because I'm making an English trifle. So now this mixture goes back into this pot. And now you want to bring it back to a boil, stirring constantly. Keep it at like medium-high heat. Now I have to use a plastic-coated whisk here because this pot, if I use the metal whisk, it would scrape up the bottom. So this is a plastic whisk. Geminis are going to have something in 2018 that's either near completion or will be at completion. Some of you Geminis may really feel like you have heaps of responsibility placed on you in 2018. You may be aggravated by this Gemini, and you may call somebody else in to assist you with that, like hire an assistant, hire a personal secretary, hire people that you know, if it's yard work or household repairs, you could be hiring somebody to help you do with it, but help you out with it. But I do feel some Geminis are going to feel like you have a lot of responsibilities heaped on you in 2018 and could be feeling aggravated by it. I see some Geminis getting a proposal of some idea or project or plan that pops up and comes up to you, and you may be like jumping on it quickly. Now, I stirred this the entire time. How come I'm getting little dark bits on the bottom? I have no idea. When that happens, that means it's sticking to the bottom. So I'm actually going to be pouring this through a strainer into this bowl because I don't want those bits. So it's always good for you to see what can happen. I didn't stop stirring this at all. It's very touchy. Okay, so I'm moving this over here. So have a strainer handy should you need to do that. I didn't stop stirring that for one split second, not even a second. It's very touchy. What you're doing with the stirring constantly and adding the flour or cornstarch is you're thickening it. You're bringing the the pastry cream to thicken. I don't know why it did that. Probably if I had a stainless steel pot with no coating, it may have gone better. So if you have a stainless steel pot, use that. I'm straining this here, which doesn't mean anything. It's not negative that that had to happen, but I am puzzled by it because I did stir the entire time. Cancers are going to feel like family, it becomes of major importance to them, which probably always is the case for most cancers. But for some reason, it's being mentioned for 2018. So I feel like it's becoming extremely important. Okay, so, maybe it's because I used flour. I don't usually use flour. I like to use cornstarch. So I don't know if that's why this happened, but I'm glad you got to witness it. So you'll know, because you see that the spots right there, that's the flour that, in the custard that's stuck to the pan. I stirred constantly. So when they say stir constantly, they mean it. There is no not stirring constantly. Okay, so I've got it in my stainless steel bowl, and this is good. You make it before you start. If you're making eclairs or the trifle, whatever you're making, always do it first, before you make the patty choux for the cream puffs and eclairs. And what you want to do now is you want to take some sweet unsalted butter and rub it over the top of the custard. This way it won't form a skin. Cancers may feel like family concerns are at all-time high or greatly affecting your mind, because I see you, even though family is always of importance, I see you feeling like family is going to take on, like you having concern. You always have concerns over your family, but I get some of you feeling like you do have some big concern. So now I'm going to let this cool down and cover it. After it cools off, I'm going to cover it with plastic and refrigerate it and make sure it's nice and cold before I use it on the cream puffs and eclairs. Actually, it's only for the eclairs and the trifle. The cream puffs get whipped cream. So next step, to make the patty choux. So the first thing we want to do here is now make the patty choux recipe. And you need half milk, half water, 1.5 cups total of milk and water. And you want to put this in a pot and bring it to a boil. And you're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of sugar to the water. And also to that, you want to add 11 tablespoons of sweet unsalted butter. So you want to bring this to a boil. And when it comes to a slow boil, you're going to use a wooden spoon and you want to remove it from the heat and add all the flour at once. You need 1.5 cups of flour. That's what you're going to add all at once. Now, you add eggs to this recipe and it requires 1.5 cups of eggs. This took 8 eggs, but I wouldn't go by the number of eggs. Measure your eggs because the volume is what's important. So 1.5 cups of flour and 1.5 cups of eggs. And while you're waiting for this to boil, make sure you have sheet trays lined with parchment paper ready to go. And you're going to need a pastry bag with an open hold tip, or you could just pipe it through the opening of the pastry bag if it's not too huge without the tip. Cancers may also find that they have people pushing their buttons, so don't let people stand in your way from what you want to do, Cancer, in 2018. Okay, so now this is to a slow boil. So also you want to have a bowl, and I just put it on top of the preheating stove to keep it warm. You want to have a warm bowl also. So now I'm removing it from the heat. I'm going to put it over here on this burner. And now you're going to add that 1.5 cups of flour all at once. So it all comes together like that, like a dough, forms a ball, comes away from the sides of the pan. That's exactly what you want. Now I'm going to put it in this bowl. And now you want to add the eggs one at a time, or 2 at a time. If you've been a Cancer that has felt like your health has not been that great, I see Cancer's health returning and you feeling actually pretty good. So I see anybody that's been feeling under the weather, having any health problems, the Cancers out there, I feel like 2018 is going to make you feel a lot better physically. Some of you Leos out there might be doing your job just right and getting some kind of promotion or an increase, or seeing, if you own your own business, seeing an increase in the money that you make. Leos also look to me like they're going to be working on some new venture, either getting new clients or working on a new business venture of some sort and gaining financial gain from that. Okay, so that's the rest of the eggs. You can also make these little cream puffs too and make them small and make mini pastries out of it, mini cream puffs, mini eclairs. You could also make them to fill with little, different kinds, salmon mousse or any kind of cheese, cheesy little spread you like. I also see Leos separating from anything that's bothersome to you in 2018. This could be from a spouse, it could be from a friendship or a job or a business associate or a client. But some of you Leos will find yourself separating yourself from something that brings in annoyance. Okay, so now I have the patty choux dough ready. As you can see, it's kind of an interesting consistency, little sticky. Okay, so now we're going to start piping out the cream puffs and eclairs. And for cream puffs, you want them to be about 1.5 inch rounds. Virgos look like this year is going to be doing their best for success. You could be invited to attend some kind of show, like a trade show or some kind of special gathering. And I also see that Virgos are going to like how their money is rolling in. I feel like you're going to be doing well with money, or you're going to see some kind of increase or be pleased with your money. Probably took those too close to the edge there. So, and you want to have your oven preheated to 425 for these. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that right in the beginning, because you should have your oven preheated before you do anything. I'm just taking a little bit of water to tap down this little tail that's on the top here. Also, Virgos look like you're going to be really big into gift giving. Now I'm going to take a little powdered sugar and dust the tops of these. You can do this with a little strainer. You don't have to have one of these. So next I'm going to move on to doing the eclairs. And I'm going to put these in the oven, and they could take 10 to 15 minutes, but keep your eye on them. I'm going to put the timer on for 10 minutes just in case. So now we're going to go on to eclairs. You want to pipe these about 3 inches long. A little rusty here. I haven't done this for 16 years, so bear with me. I get Virgos are going to be seeing like a life-forming show, like transformative show of some sort. This could be spiritual. This could be, it could be a music performance that just blows you away. But for some reason, Virgo, it's going to be transformative for you. Libras need to be careful with like any difficulty with digestion in 2018. You may feel like you have ulcers, or maybe you just have upset stomachs a lot, but that comes up for Libras. I'm going to tap the tail down again with a little bit of water on the end of my finger. Just a slight tap. Libras may also be presenting themselves in a new way, in a new format. This could be some video or show that you create. This could be with family members. It could be however you could present yourself in a new format comes up. So now I'm going to sprinkle these with powdered sugar, get these in the oven. 425. I'd say about 15 minutes probably is what it's going to take. I put the cream puffs in for 10 minutes and they're not done yet. They're really puffing up, but maybe do 13 minutes. But you know, it all depends on your oven. Everybody's oven is different. So now I'm going to pipe out a Paris breast, which is like, it's a ring. It's a ring. It's like a big patty choux ring, like a big cream puff ring. I also see that Libras are going to feel like they want to get back onto some kind of exercise regime, or like getting back on a treadmill or riding a bicycle, you know, for exercise. All right, a little weak there. All right, same thing with these. But I can't put this in yet because I don't have 3 racks in my oven. I only have 2. So this has to sit out and wait a little bit. Now, as I said, you know, you could cut this recipe in half if you did not want to make this many things. You could definitely cut it in half, or I don't know. I just feel like if you make this amount, you could always freeze this. You can, cream puffs and eclairs can go in a plastic bag in the freezer for a couple of months, and they're great to have on hand if you need any little to fill for hors d'oeuvres or for a quick dessert. If all of a sudden you have to bring something somewhere and you're like, what am I going to bring? If you make extra cream puffs, then you just take the cream puffs out, whip some cream with some powdered sugar in it, fill them up, and you look like you're the big hero and the big star. So you don't have to make this much. So now while these are baking, we're going to get to filling them in a second. And now we're going to fill the little cream puffs. Now the size I piped out, this is really perfect for hors d'oeuvres or mini pastries. These are not like single portions. You'd probably have to give someone 3 or 4 of these to equal a full-size portion. So what I'm going to do here is you want to cut off the tops carefully. Actually, this knife is a little too big for this. I'm going to use this knife because that one was a bit too big. So what you want to do is you want to take the tops off. This is better. And you're putting them on a separate plate because you're actually going to sprinkle those with powdered sugar. And then you're going to put them on the top. You could just, put the powdered sugar, put the tops on and then sprinkle them with powdered sugar. But, then you're going to have powdered sugar all over your platter. If you're okay with that, then, do what you want. I see some Scorpios involved in some kind of big drama. It could be a big drama production, like a theater production or some kind of theater revival of some sort. I get Scorpios having dramatic exchanges too. So whether you're in the dramatic field or not, or it's just dramatic exchanges, I feel that some Scorpios are going to see that in 2018, sorry. Some of you Scorpios are going to be leading the charge also, doing things differently than ever before, and getting thrust into a leadership role comes up for some Scorpios in this year of 2018. You also may, if you're a working Scorpio, you may change the place that you're working. If you normally are working in an office, you may actually start doing some work out of your home. That's possible for some of you. Sagittarius, you look like you're becoming the breadwinner of the family. You may already be the breadwinner of the family, but it is being mentioned. And you want to see with these cream puffs, like what you want is them to be hollow inside. That's what you want. You don't want them to be filled with like any doughy center, because if there's a doughy center, you're not going to be able to fill them properly. So I'm going to stop there. And these I'm going to fill with whipped cream. I already whipped it. I used a pint. This was a pint of whipped cream. I whipped it to stiff peaks, and I added about 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. You can add more, you can add less. You can add vanilla if you want. Some people don't like their whipped cream to be sweet. Some people want just that cream flavor. But since these little cream puffs, this pate choux, it's not sweet really. So I'm just... Sagittarians also might be getting invited to like either a ball or some like gathering. It could even be a spiritual gathering for some of you. But you may find, Sag, that the spotlight is on you. Could be at this event. I see some of you Sagittarians taking a project and moving it to another location. So you could, if you were making a film production or you were working on something and so that kind of came up for Scorpio in a way, like working out of home if you normally work in an office. But this is something different. This is like something like if you teach in a school, maybe you're going to start taking the kids outside or going on location more. Now, if you don't have a piece of equipment like this little like sifter shaker for sugar, for powdered sugar, you can use a sieve. It works just as well. So now you just stick the little hats on these little cream puffs. And I do see some of you Sagittarians willingly lead something. You're willingly going to lead something. Could be a group. Again, the word spiritual keeps coming up to me, so it could be a spiritual endeavor, but it could be a group of like children going somewhere on an outing. It could be a youth group, because I see teens involved or kids involved in it. Or like I said, if you're a teacher, this could apply. You could be starting your own company or business, like child care, you know, like a daycare, child care kind of thing, or your own preschool. Okay, so now I'm going to refrigerate these because they're whipped cream. And now I'm going to work on filling the eclairs. Now, I'm not using whipped cream with the eclairs. I'm using the pastry cream that we made earlier. So now we're going to fill the little eclairs, and we're going to use the pastry cream. Would have liked it to have set up more, but for the essence of time, we're starting it now. So you just want to fill the little eclairs up. Careful not to overfill them like what I'm doing. Definitely use cornstarch in your pastry cream. I do not think flour is the way to go. As I said, I know that cornstarch was purchased. Where the heck did it go? I can't tell you. It's disturbing me, quite frankly. Capricorns may see some jealousy spike up at the workplace. I do see that's possible for some of you. Capricorns may also see themselves lending their name or expertise at a at the workplace or at a business venture, somebody else's venture. So now I'm going to use some ganache that I made, and if you want to see how to do that, check out the chocolate torte à l'orange recipe, which is the first video that was done here for the Psychic Pastry Chef for the month of August for Leos, and you can see the recipe on how to make that. You don't want to make a very big batch of it. So now I'm going to dip the eclairs in here. Capricorns are also going to feel like you're working against time. Like I get if you, and this could be in a family matter, a personal situation, could also be in a work situation. But I get many of you Capricorns feeling like you've got some pressure about time in 2018 in regard to some project or thing that you're working on. I see Aquarians like to have the ball on their court in 2018, and that you may be doing something different than you usually do. Maybe you're going to learn skydiving, mountain climbing. Maybe you're going to start a new business endeavor or a new job. I feel like Aquarians, some of you are going to feel like you on the popularity poll with either your family or your friends or work or public persona, whatever the case may be. I do feel it is going to be high for you in 2018. And also linking yourself up with somebody of prominence. You may start working for somebody that's really well known, or is well known in politics, or has some, big company or something that can be of help to you in whatever the creative field is that you're working on, or your work-related field. All right, so what do you think? They look pretty good. Remember my advice, what I said about the pastry cream, stirring it constantly. I prefer cornstarch over flour, and plus the custard did not have enough time to set up in the fridge, so it was a little thin, but let's see, what am I gonna try? I guess I'll try a cream puff. Which one? Yes, I'm that kind of person. I want a particular one. So let's see, maybe I'll try both. All right, I'll try an eclair. Wow, a lot of cream shot out of that one. So I'm gonna try one of these cream puffs, let's see. Oh man, that's good stuff. Can't go wrong with cream puffs and eclairs. Absolutely cannot. Remember what I said? You can make these little cream puffs for hors d'oeuvres. For cream puffs, you can make a bigger size, like I made over here. You can make bigger eclairs. You don't have to make them this small. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And please make sure you are following your passions in life. That way, you'll know you're on your true path. Until next time. Thanks for watching The Psychic Pastry Chef. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in getting any of the special videos I've recorded for my Psychic Pastry Chef Vimeo On Demand channel with more recipes and psychic predictions for 2018 for each sign of the zodiac, you can access these videos for purchase by clicking on the link below this video, or you can go to my website, www.thepsychicpastrychef.com, and click on the videos tab on my menu. If you're interested in scheduling a private psychic reading with me, or purchasing any of the special videos that I record monthly for each sign of the zodiac for my Lucky Mermaid Vimeo On Demand channel, you can access those videos for purchase by clicking on the videos tab on my menu at www.theluckymermaid.com and go to my order page online scheduling calendar for booking new appointments, which reopens every 4 to 5 months. See you next month.